social studies, for math, like my phys ed, that would get you a diploma. But if that doesn't mean anything in terms of where you're headed, the day after graduation, you're drifting. So we are very focused on figuring out two things: what kids are good at and what they like. So their skills and their interests, where they intersect. So we're constantly having those conversations with kids. Are you a vocational kid? Are you a content academic kid? Is the military the right plan for you? Is small business, is a trade something important to you? And we don't place a value, we don't order them like this. We don't say, everyone's going to go to college, and if you don't, here's the consolation pathways. We meet kids where they are, and then we work through community partnerships like the Civic and like the Southampton Business Alliance and others to make sure that whatever that right pathway is for students, we have resources to help support those kids so that the graduation stage is a launch pad. It's not step off and now what do? I'm 18 years old and I'm just going to drift and kind of bounce around, right? It's hard to be a graduate and enter this world. We know it's hard to live on the East End, right? And so we want to make sure there are pathways to a successful career path and life here if kids want to stay here for the next generation of people to be active, or if they go off to college or military, that they have a pathway back, again, if it's something that they want. So we'll start off with enrollment. Hampton Bays is K through 12. Not all districts are out here. They send to different places. We have 1,906 students. That's Sunday. Today's Monday. That's yesterday's enrollment. I checked it yesterday on the computer. The unadjusted enrollment for next year would be 1,820. So a modest, the analogy I use to personify this is a helium balloon losing its air, and it's slowly coming down. Because what's happening are a couple things. Number one, we're graduating bigger classes. So 197 students in the 12th grade right now, 107 students in the kindergarten. And it's sort of a gentle decline as we get to kindergarten. Now, to be frank, we haven't met the COVID babies yet, right? They're 4 and 5 years old. So we're in the midst of enrolling our kindergartners. The class of 2039, okay? The class of 2039. And so we will see if those trends continue. So that's number one. Federal and national news around immigration has also been an impact for us and many other East End districts, frankly, as well. So we have seen what we've experienced over the last 5 years, say, has been bigger graduating classes and smaller incoming kindergarten classes. But that was mitigated because we had transients in and out of the school during the year. So in the 2023-24 school year, we had, in addition to the brand new kindergartners, the babies who came in, during the year we had 227 new registrants into the district, and we had 170 or so leave the district. Not the same group of kids, but that's movement. And so the delta there, the change between the senior class and the kindergarten class was mitigated by the third graders in and out, or the ninth grader in and out. So we were really not going like this as a district, we were going like this. And so that has been maybe a temporary evolution for us, but we have seen a lot less new registrants during the year, particularly newcomers to the United States from Central and South America. Would that change? Could that change? It certainly could, but that's the reality of what we're seeing right now. So there was a question that Eileen and I had talked about over the weekend. So less kids means less budget, right? In a perfect world, yes, right? When that's the only variable you're talking about. But like everything, like a sponsorship for the Good Ground Park concert, like Eileen said, costs continue to rise. The United States is grappling with a healthcare crisis and insurance and costs, special education, transportation. So all of those are variables that exist for us too, rising costs. We're concerned about energy prices for next year, given what's happening across the world right now. 2 of our 3 buildings operate on oil or natural gas. So Larry gets a call and says, go down, think about Ghostbusters. Remember when they pulled that lever and all the ghosts went out? Larry goes down to the basement and he switches it from oil to natural gas when the economy, says move here for cost mitigation. We're hopeful in the next 3 to 5 years to have natural gas that moves up Argonne and would allow those who live along Argonne to opt into that in work we're doing with what's called an energy performance contract, and what that would allow to do. Currently it goes to about Emerson Court, a little, maybe Warner Way.
Emerson Court, yeah.
And so finishing that run would help residents. They'd have to buy in to tap into that line. But once it gets to where we are, then we can cut right into the high school, and then all 3 of our buildings could be dual fuel. So that's something we're working on as a cost mitigation measure. So to answer the question, enrollment's going down. And when I get asked that question, Lars, I heard the school district's smaller, like at King Cullen. Nobody wants to hear the nuanced answer, right? They want a yes or a no, and they want to keep moving. I say, well, while I have you, it's a little bit more complicated than we're just going down in enrollment, because there are a lot of other variables that are pushing on our enrollment right now. When you look at our demographic representation, we continue to be a ethnically, racially, and economically diverse community. When I introduce Hampton Bays to colleagues across the state, I, number one, say we're the Hamptons who makes the rest of the Hamptons run, right? We work for the rest of the Hamptons. We make the Hamptons run. Because we're so diverse, what does that look like? We have friends and neighbors who have boats live in their backyard, in their beautiful home. And then we have families who are really struggling economically, doubled up, tripled up sometimes, with multi-generational families or siblings and their families who are making it work. So we're not a homogeneous community. We are very ethnically and racially and economically diverse. So what do we focus on? And as I started, I said, what are you good at and what do you like? And that takes a couple of different forms. So when we talk about college and career, not only has all of our personal costs go up, but the cost of higher education has exponentially taken off compared to inflation, compared to just the cost of living increases since the 1970s. And so going to college is always a serious decision, but a much more serious economic decision than it has been in the past for families. And so what can we do about that? We have dual enrollment programs where kids can take courses now in school, and then for a very discounted rate, a couple of $100s, get their course paid for through college credit. And you can see the 5 universities who we partner with. The University at Albany, Stony Brook, Suffolk Community College, Farmingdale State, and St. Joseph's University. So if you are involved in government class, for example, every kid has to take government. If you take college government, you have 3 credits of government at Stony Brook University, if you want them. So kids will graduate, and we used to have a high water mark. Shannon Long, class of 2016, graduated and she had 37 credits that she took in Tennessee. And we just celebrated Shannon all over the place. And we still do. She's a lawyer in New York City, working for the New York City Department of Finance. But now we're seeing, because we've added more courses to this dual enrollment program, we have kids graduating. Vasil Datsiak, who we're hoping will hear from MIT soon, he thinks he will graduate with 50 credits.
Wow.
What does that allow you to do? Graduate early, get a second major, study for the LSAT if you want to be a lawyer, or an MCAT if you want to go to graduate school, or GRE for a med school, GRE if you want to get your MBA, for example. Take an internship, study abroad, enrich your life, or graduate early and get on with your life, because college has become such a financial, primarily a financial decision for families. And then we offer advanced placement courses. In 2006, we had 6 AP courses. This year we have 18. So we've been building for more AP courses. 78% of our kids, I think we administered 320 or so exams last year. 78% of our kids taking those tests got a 3 or higher. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the score for an AP. And most colleges will give you credit if you get a 3, a 4, or a 5. But the research shows that if you take an AP class and you get a 1 or a 2, you are still statistically going to do better in college because you've had access to that rigorous college type exposure at the high school level. Next year we'll add personal finance. We joke, so you heard me talk a couple of years ago, we have a branch of Teachers Federal Credit Union inside Hampton Bays High School to teach financial literacy. The most expensive ball cap that I own is the free one I got when I got a MasterCard at the University of Texas. It's a free hat, and here's a credit card. Well, that wasn't free. So teaching that personal finance is so important. We will add an AP for personal finance course as well. The personal finance course we have right now ties with Suffolk Community College and St. Joseph's University for business and math credit as well. So we're trying to find those opportunities for our kids to get as much work as they can get done here in school. We'll also add cybersecurity next year, a growing field. You know, we dove into computer science, and now with AI, computer science is like the way of the dodo almost. And cybersecurity is what the world needs right now to protect us, digitally speaking. We also, so when you look at our graduation rate,